Hey, welcome. We'll start letting people filter in here. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. So if you're watching this video at some point later when it's not live, come back in 2 minutes and we'll get talking. We're just going to allow people to start filtering in here and make sure the audio is working. So if you want to skip this section and you're not watching it live, go ahead about 2 minutes. Can everybody hear me okay? If you're watching and you can hear me okay, Bill, thank you for being here and moderating. Thank you, man. Okay, Joel, thank you for telling me the sound is good. Point camera up a little bit. Okay, thank you. Oh, we gotta go more. Sorry. How's this? Is this good? Sorry, guys. I'm terrible at this. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. We're going to get started here in probably another minute or so. Just let people kind of come in, make sure the audio is all good. And hey, thanks for being here, guys. I love doing these live chats. I'd love to do them more regularly. Thank you, Joseph from Trail Features in the house here, another YouTuber, for the $2 super chat. Thanks, my man. Appreciate that. Man, those super chats help out a ton. For those of you who have questions, or if I've helped you in any way, that's a great way to kind of let me know that I've helped you, and it sure helps the channel a ton. Allows me to get more bikes and go out and do more demos. MTB Kevin in the house, I see you. Trailblazer, Bill W, thank you for always moderating. Joseph, if you're gonna stay around for a little bit, I don't know how to turn you on as a moderator, or maybe you already are. Oh, you already are. Okay, great. All right, just one moment here and then we'll get started. Okay, so we're going to start talking Tallboy 4. Man, who of you, I'd love to see in the chats, who of you have ridden this bike already and kind of hear what you guys have to say about it, see what you guys think about it. I thought it was awesome. I think it's Santa Cruz's best trail bike right now, honestly. That thing was incredible. Drinking Schweppes, as per the usual. Little ginger ale. Tallboy 4, what a sick bike. Completely different than the previous Tallboy, in my opinion. The original, or excuse me, I keep saying the original. The Tallboy 3 that came out like in 2016, I want to say, was such a cool cross-country bike. It was kind of the first 29er cross-country bike that I was like, wow, the geometry is really cool. You can really hammer on the pedals. I felt the momentum of that 29-inch wheel really just rolling so quickly, and I was really impressed by that bike. And I had just, as I mentioned in the video, I just previously purchased a Santa Cruz 5010 at the time, and I really saw the difference in those two bikes and how significant that 29er was, and I thought it was super cool. So yeah, I guess that's the first thing I want to mention is just how different this new Tallboy 4 is compared to the previous Tallboy 3. Really significant changes, and it's that lower link. I mean, the lower link on Santa Cruz's bikes is just unbelievable. If it's on your radar, or if it's something that you're super interested in, definitely go demo it and see what you think. You know, editing the video footage from the Tallboy video, I kind of bagged on my Ibis Ripley just a little bit of it not being as capable. And so I went and rode today for about 3.5 hours on some pretty rough, janky, high alpine trails. You can go check it out on Strava. If you don't already follow me on Strava, you can head over there. Strava is kind of fun to follow me there too, as opposed to just YouTube, because you can go see all the bikes that I'm riding. I always post up what bikes I'm riding. So the bikes I've ridden but haven't edited videos on yet would be the Evil Offering, the Yeti SB140. I did a head-to-head between, I took 3 bikes. I took the Santa Cruz Hightower, the Evil Offering, and the Ibis Ripley, and went and did a video on those 3 bikes. So if you follow me on Strava, you can be more up to date, and you can ask me questions there about the bikes I'm riding as well. Anyway, I went and rode the Ripley again today, and I really, the Ripley is closer to the Tallboy 4 than I gave it credit for in the Tallboy 4 video, honestly. It doesn't descend as well as the Tallboy 4. I'll stick with that. But it's closer than I probably made it sound in that Tallboy 4 video. So anyway, for what that's worth, I've had a ton of comments on this Tallboy 4 video for whatever reason. A lot of people want to know how it compares to the Giant Trance 29er and the Pivot Trail 429. The geometry of those bikes is just different enough that they don't feel like they're in the same category, I wouldn't say. Although the Giant Trance had some really great geometry. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think that's 66.5-degree head tube angle. A little less suspension, 115 in the rear. I guess it's similar. But anyway. Oh, do we have Mo Awesome in here too? Joseph, I just saw that. What's up, Mo? Yes, you should definitely come up here tomorrow, Mo, and ride with me. 100%, come up here. I thought about going down to Outer Bike and riding with a bunch of you guys. It seemed like there was a lot of YouTubers down there. And man, it would have been fun to go down there and ride Captain Ahab with you guys. Anyway, sorry, I'll get back to the Tallboy here for a minute, but it's always fun to have Joseph and Mo Awesome and everybody, you know, kind of popping in here. Trail Features in the house. If there's somebody else in there, let me know. Hey, Ryan Hamlin, what's up, buddy? Good to see you too, bud. Sorry, I feel this. I love to talk in the chat and hang out in the chat with you guys, but I also feel responsible because the title of the video says Tallboy 4 live chat Q&A. So people who watch this after the fact are going to come in here hoping to glean some sort of information about the Tallboy. I want to be yakking about Joseph and Mo Awesome and my buddy Ryan Hamlin in here. And anyway, yeah, dude, Mo, send me a text. I'll totally ditch work tomorrow and go ride with you, buddy. That'd be fun. You and Hannah. All right. So the Tallboy 4, number one thing is it's nothing like the old Tallboy 3. Number 2 is in the category of other 120 millimeter, you know, short travel trail bikes, cross country / trail bikes. This would be more capable than anything else I can think of off the top of my head in that kind of short travel 29er category. I think those are the things I really wanted to touch on. And then a third thing that came up a lot in the comment section below the video on the original Tallboy 4 video was, aren't 120 millimeter travel 29ers supposed to be lightweight? That comment came up several times, and I completely agree. When I first rode Evil the Following MB, which was like a 30-pound, 120 mil travel 29er, I was like, this is really cool how capable and burly this bike feels for a short travel bike. But then I started thinking about the characteristics of the bike and kind of the way it acted on the trail. And I thought, well, it kind of feels like a big bike. It feels like a 140 mil travel bike. So why not just get a 140 mil travel bike? And so I want to speak to that question or that comment here. You know, if the 120 mil travel Tallboy feels like a bigger, more capable bike, and it's heavy at 29, 30 pounds in the S build that I rode. I would imagine the XO1 build or carbon wheels, or you can lighten these bikes up pretty quick, especially with some lighter weight tires. Why not just get the Hightower or some other big bike? Well, for me, the Hightower didn't have that same pop and snappy, quick, lively feeling to it that the Tallboy has. But there's other bikes that are longer travel that are available that are as capable or more capable than the Tallboy, that climb as well or better than the Tallboy that you might consider. And the ones that come to mind would be the Rocky Mountain Instinct. That's 140 millimeters of travel, not quite as aggressive of a head tube angle as the Tallboy, but also they kind of came out with that bike like 2.5 years ago, so it's been around for a bit. But that one comes to mind, which if you guys subscribe to the channel and follow, you guys know how much I love that Rocky Mountain Instinct. It was incredible. The other one that comes to mind, honestly, is the Ibis Ritmo. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Tallboy is so capable and so composed at like high speeds. Why not consider getting an Ibis Ritmo? You could build up an Ibis Ritmo pretty lightweight, 27, 28 pounds pretty easily in a size medium for me. My Ritmo that I had, I've since sold it. Excuse me. Man, I was with pedals 28 pounds. So that's a almost 27 pound bike with a Fox 36 at 160 millimeters on it. And so, you kind of had to ask yourself, if you're getting into a 120 mil bike that weighs 30 pounds, is there something else more long travel that still has a poppy, lively feel? Is there something else that's worth considering? And so I just wanted to bring up those 2 bikes. The Rocky Mountain Instinct is longer travel, just as composed at high speeds. Frankly, it climbs better than the Tallboy. I thought the Ibis Ripley climbed better than the Tallboy also. I'd have to go out and ride them back to back to be 100%, but and then that's the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then we can start hanging out in the chat a little bit. And that is that tires, I've said this a ton of times, but tires is a bigger factor in climbing than suspension style. And what I mean by that is you take the Tallboy 4, the Ibis Ritmo, which is a longer travel bike, and then the Rocky Mountain Instinct, which is also a longer travel bike. And, if I take them all and they have a Maxxis DHF 2.5 on the front and a Maxxis Aggressor 2.5 on the rear and go pedal them, they're all going to climb the same. But the minute I put a Maxxis Recon 2.4 tire on the front of the Tallboy 4, and something like an Ardent Race, a Maxxis Ardent Race 2.35 on the rear, so Recon and Ardent Race versus the Ibis Ripley, Ritmo, or Ripley for that matter, if I had the larger tires on the Ripley, I just think the Tallboy 4 would climb better than those other two bikes, the Instinct and the Ibis, with a faster rolling, lower drag resistance tire than the other bikes that climb better. It just makes a bigger factor. But when you go to a more aggressive, cross-country type trail or cross-country type tire, you start to lose, you give up some other things like traction in the corners on the downhill, stability. When you go through chundry sections, they'll get kicked off line a little bit more than the beefier tire. You don't get as good a braking traction, so you can't stop as quick with that Ardent Race on the back versus an Aggressor or a DHR2 or a DHF on the back or whatever. And then the last thing is protection. You have less protection with those tires if you're riding really chundery, rocky terrain. So I think tires make a huge difference. If you want your bike to climb better, keep the bike you have, put faster rolling tires. You suffer less protection and not as much cornering and braking traction. Man, that was kind of long-winded. Sorry, guys, but I felt like that was worth addressing. And then I'm going to hop in the chat now. So if you were watching this and hoping to glean more information about the Tallboy, I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions here in the chat that we can kind of hit on and go from there. All right, let's see. Trail features in the house still. Thanks for sticking around. He says, hit that thumbs up for Yum Yum. Awesome NTB collab. Oh yeah, I do a collaboration with them again, with Mo Awesome again. That'd be sweet. I like to run with those guys. Joseph says again, I'm pretty sure tires are the single best upgrade you can put on a bike. Literally the only thing connecting you to the ground. Dude, 100%. For those of you guys who subscribe and follow the channel, I've been riding my Ibis Ripley now for quite a while. And I've gone through numerous sets of tires. In fact, I've got a whole stack of tires sitting over there that I've tried on these things. I've tried a ton of different tires, and I'm trying to find the balance between really fast, high-rolling, low-drag tires and total traction, total braking traction, protection, and burly, confidence-inspiring tire. And in the middle, I've kind of landed on a few different tires and kind of getting to where I need to be, but that's great comment is about the tires there. James O'Brien with the $14.99 super chat. Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You know, if you have a question, lay it on us and we'll address it. Okay, let's get back in here. How does the bike compare to the Stump Jumper ST? Dustin Johnson says. You know what? The Stump Jumper ST that I rode was a 27.5, and I didn't love it. I really want to ride the Stump Jumper short travel 29er. I just haven't got a chance. Hamza Hassan, hopefully I'm saying that right, says, how do you compare the bike with the Giant Trance 29er? The Giant Trance 29er feels more like my Ibis Ripley than it does the Tallboy 4, which means it doesn't have that high speed, just give it the beans type of attitude that the Tallboy 4 has. The Tallboy 4 is so controlled and confidence inspiring at high speeds, it would take quite a bit to really get to the limits of the Tallboy 4. Really, it really would. Let's see here. TJ Bennett says, direct message from Santa Cruz Facebook Messenger. The medium Tallboy CC weighs 2,834 grams, kind of heavy. Yeah, it's kind of heavy. Bill W says, it sounds like the following. Yeah, it kind of, you know, it doesn't ride like the following. It rides much better. The new Tallboy 4 rides significantly better than the Evil following MB that I rode a year ago. Maybe Evil's come out with a new geometry or some sort of change. But yeah, it has that real heavy, sturdy feeling that the following has, but I think it rides better. Alex from New Zealand, welcome. I see you. Keep up the great work. Question, could you feel the bike's weight difference versus the Ripley, minding the tire difference? Yeah, I definitely could. 100%, I really could. I'm kind of a weight weenie, if you haven't recognized that yet. My Ripley weighs a little over 24 pounds without pedals. It's insane. And I've gone the distance to get it really lightweight, you know, super light carbon wheels, like super light. If you're a heavier rider, you wouldn't want to ride the wheel set I'm on. It's like a 1,300 gram 29er wheel set with a 30 millimeter internal diameter width. I also have a KSLEV carbon dropper post, which is the lightest dropper post on the market. NV cockpit, bar and stem. I mean, I've XTR brake, everything. I've gone as light as possible. Carbon rails on my saddle. I mean, it's ridiculous. I really enjoy a lightweight bike, though. You know, but I also have a larger trail bike in my Rocky Mountain Instinct right now, BC edition, which is 29 pounds. So. All right, cruising down here through more of these comments. Chad Hauser says, not super experienced. Can you explain why geometry is important or point me to a video that explains it? I'm on the Santa Cruz Tallboy 3. All right, well, the quick and dirty, Chad, is as the angle of the head tube gets slacker, it's approaching the obstacles on the trail at not quite of a steep angle, so it can roll over stuff easier, right? As the rake of the fort gets steeper, like what you might see on a cross-country bike, that, you know, a common number would be like 70-degree head-tube angle or 69-degree head-tube angle. Those are very steep, and it makes the bike feel twitchier. It makes the steering more precise a little bit, but also another thing that the Tallboy 4 does really well is it's a very long cockpit. So the reach from where I'm standing on the pedals, you know, with a bottom bracket straight up to, and then a line out to the handlebars, that dictates the reach, is very long. So you're really behind the handlebars very far when you're standing with, you know, not seated, but just standing descending. And it puts a lot more of the bike out in front of you to really capture, or not capture, but to descend better over the obstacles in front of you. There's more bike in front of you eating up the trail in front of you. I'm sure there's a video on this somewhere. I don't know if I'm the right person to explain it all, but that's the idea. As the bike is more raked out, it becomes slower, not quite as twitchy feeling. That also is a function of the stem length on your stem that your handlebars hooks to. But yeah, I'm kind of getting down a rabbit hole here of geometry that I don't know that I want to keep talking about too much, but that's what creates that slacker feel, and it kind of gobbles up the trail, the obstacles and the terrain in the trail easier. That's the benefit of a 29er, frankly, as well, is that taller diameter wheel is now approaching obstacles at a less steep angle. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, you know, honestly, if you just go out and demo the Tallboy 4 and then in the same day ride your Tallboy 3 that it looks like you own on the same trails and ride those back to back, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, how the geometry is so important. In fact, just before I leave the topic of geometry, I just want to mention geometry plays a much bigger role than suspension travel. For example, I mean, that's evident on this Tallboy 4, is even though it only has 120 millimeters of rear travel, because of the geometry of the bike, it feels very capable at high speeds because it has such a raked out, you know, 65.5-degree head tube angle, which is really neat. So anyway, I didn't do that geometry topic of discussion very well, but there you go. Okay, let's see here. Moving down into the chat further. Okay, TJ Bennett says the top build on a Santa Cruz's website for the Tallboy is 27 pounds, 7 ounces with Maxxis DHF tires. Okay, well, yeah, it's kind of heavy. But still, 27 pounds isn't the end of the world. I mean, anything under 30 pounds is acceptable. It's just I prefer to make my 120 mil bike lighter. Ryan Hamblin says, would you rather take the Tallboy 4 or the Ripley out on True Grit? True Grit is a 50-mile bike race in March, every year in March, down in southern Utah, in Santa Clara by St. George. And Ryan, 100% I'd rather take my Ripley. Of course, the Tallboy 4 would be fine. I want to put a faster rolling tire on it than what I rode on there because it'll make my day easier. But yeah, I would take the Ripley for sure. That thing just, the Ripley hammers on the climbs and everywhere else. Okay. Moving down the chat further here. Kevin Warner says, awesome chat, yum yum. Heading to Park City tomorrow. Any trail recommendations? Oh, geez, man. Park City has so many options. If you want more of a cross-country trail, head out to Flying Dog or ride Pine Cone or Armstrong. If you want some really technical riding, go to Deer Valley. All of Deer Valley has Fire Swamp, Thieves Forest, NCS, Tsunami is all super fun, high-speed kind of bike park type feeling stuff. Another really janky trail would be Empire down to Red Bull off of Guardsman's Pass. Anyway, hop on Trail Forks and you'll find a lot of great trails. Welcome to Utah, by the way. Have fun in Park City. Let's see here. Okay, so I've got a few questions here about the difference between the Tallboy 4 and the Yeti SB130. That's an interesting topic of discussion because the SB130 has 10 millimeters more travel in the rear. They're both 29ers, and the SB130 comes with a much longer fork at 150 millimeters, but it has a Fox 36 on there too, which is incredibly stable, and just it's a great fork. And so, you know what? I would love to do a head-to-head with a Tallboy 4 and a Yeti SB130. Even though it seems like the SB130, because of the beefier fork and more travel up front, seems like it should be in a little bit bigger category, the Tallboy 4 I think would hang with it pretty well. It's interesting that Yeti bikes, you know, not that you asked about Yetis specifically, but Yeti bikes, all of them pretty much feel have the same characteristic where when they're descending, it's almost like the rebound is turned up really high, even though it's not, but they just stay on top of the chundery section of trail really well. They don't get gobbled up or pinned up or hung up on stuff on the descents. They just skip along the top. Whereas that Tallboy 4, I wouldn't necessarily say I had that sensation riding it at all. It just really handled every hit in succession really well. And it was kind of neat. But man, that would be a great, maybe I'll do a back-to-back or head-to-head ride with the SB130. Let's see here. How about a tire video, Eric says. You know what? I've thought about doing a tire video a number of times. I don't even know how I would produce that. Looks like this camera angle needs to be turned down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. MTB Kevin with the $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. That goes a long way. If you have any questions, please fire away. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay, let's see here. DP MTB MMB, great name. You mentioned best tire setup on your Ripley. What's the best tire so far? Okay, so I've tried probably four different tire combinations. One that I really liked a lot, which I've talked about on this channel before, is the Maxxis DHR2 2.3 front tire with a Maxxis Forecaster 2.35 rear tire. That was a really great combination for fast rolling and high traction with decent protection. Although, if you are a heavier rider, like over 180 pounds, you might find that the Forecaster can sometimes on the rear feel a little wonky, like a little flimsy a little bit if you don't have enough air pressure in it. So air pressure makes a big difference too. And so I'd have to make sure I kept my air pressure at 25 PSI on the rear with that Forecaster. Right now, to answer your question, what I think is the best setup for my Ripley is I'm riding a Maxxis Recon 2.4 front tire, which I really like. It has a very consistent outside and transitioning lug for cornering. And then the Ardent Race 2.35, again Maxxis, on the rear. I really love that tire setup. It's pretty lightweight. It still has good durability, good protection, decent traction. Although the Ardent Race is not the best braking tire, but I don't know. I'm not riding super janky stuff. Although today, on my ride today, I rode some super janky stuff and I really ran out of trail quickly trying to grab those brakes, trying to take the speed out of the bike, and it didn't work real well today. But I really like that tire setup for that bike a lot. TJ Bennett said, do you notice when a bike has better suspension while braking capabilities? Yeah, some bikes brake better than others, in terms of the suspension. Sometimes you'll grab the brake when you're descending a rowdy section of trail, and it kind of feels like it's locking up the rear shock. I remember riding the Santa Cruz Bronson back in like 2016, and the day, and man, on that Trek Remedy, when you grab that rear brake, it would like lock down the rear shock almost to like you're riding a hardtail, which is, it's not terrible in every situation, but in some situations it's annoying. All right, let's see here. TJ Bennett with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Okay, Kyle Morrison says best downcountry bike on the market 2020. I think downcountry means short travel bike that still wants to go get rowdy. I think the term was originally kind of coined by Yeti when they came out with the SB100. It was pretty rad. I don't love the term downcountry. I think it's, I don't know, it's a cross-country bike that can get down or go do enduro work, I guess. But I don't know, you can ride any bike on any trail. Just depends on your speed. I think the best bike right now is an Ibis Ripley. I think that's the best bike for 95% of the people I see out on the trail. The Ibis Ripley is insane. I love the Rocky Mountain Instinct as well. I think that the weight to capability ratio of that bike is high. And I like lightweight bikes that climb well too. And both those bikes climb really well. Okay, let's see. Mathis Schultz, hope I'm saying your last name right, says yes, geometry is king. Yeah, that's a dude that gets it. Geometry makes a huge difference. Caleb Dowman says Ritmo or Tallboy as your only bike. Can you put a Pike on a Ritmo and make it a little bit lighter weight? I don't know. My only bike would have to be like under 27 pounds with good tires. So I don't know if either one of those would be my only bike. I think my only bike would be a Ripley with a Pike at 140 on it or a Rocky Mountain Instinct. That'd be sick. Okay. Kurt Robertson says the only thing I'm taking to True Grit is my car. Yeah, not a bad idea. Just go watch it. Trail POV. Sounds like a cool name. I haven't seen your channel. You indicate geometry, but does the bike feel like 140 millimeters also because of a very progressive suspension? So you don't have the harsh ending at the suspension, so it feels huge? No, I don't think so. I think it feels like it has more travel because of the mid-stroke. Or not the mid-stroke, but yeah, it could be the end of the stroke. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a suspension, I don't always know, but the bike felt really deep. It felt awesome. Yeah, it could be an interesting bike. Evan says it could be, the Tallboy could be interesting with a DPX2 or a Super Deluxe. Yeah, maybe. It looks like there's room for it down there. I thought there was room in there. Josh in Jesus, a Christian. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. Man, thanks for all the super chats tonight, guys. And thanks for everybody who hit the like button. That helps the video do better so more people will click on it. Is the Tallboy, here's a great question. EOS538 says, is the Tallboy 4 as capable as the original Hightower in your opinion? I totally think it is. Honestly, I really do. And I wrote it with a Fox 36 on there, or excuse me, a Fox 34, and the most recent Hightower had a Fox 36 on there. I think it is. The geometry of the Tallboy 4 is incredible. I honestly think it's the best trail bike in the Santa Cruz lineup. I bet you they're going to sell 1 million of those bikes. And the yellow looks better than the purple, by the way. I didn't have access to the yellow one. Yeah, I would take the Tallboy 4 over the original Hightower. And I really liked the original Hightower. I thought it was cool. Which casing on the Maxxis tires? I just run EXO casing. They make EXO Plus and Double Down as well. I haven't had a need for it. I think we got a little baby out of bed up there. Okay, JW from Minnesota, welcome. He has a Chameleon, a hardtail as a base trail bike, and a Tallboy 3 about to be warranted. Looking for some insight on whether I should go to the Tallboy 4 or move up to the Hightower Mega Tower for Spirited Mountain and a couple trips west each year. I guess if you like to get super, super rowdy, like crazy rowdy, like more rowdy than most of the people I see out on the trail, then maybe get the Hightower. But I think the Tallboy 4 would pick up where your Tallboy 3 left off, and you'd be really impressed with it. Truly, I really think you would be very impressed with the Tallboy 4. And I want to say this too real quick is nothing's gonna make up for compensate for a demo to get out and demo these bikes. And the demo trucks are all over the place. I see them. They come to my town all the time. In fact, the YT Industries demo truck was just here about 3 weeks ago. I rode the Capra 29er, or yeah, I think it was the 29er or 27.5. I can't remember. I have to go look at the video. Anyway, I rode the Capra, and then I also rode the Jeff C. The one up, the more enduro one. I think it's called the Pro, something Pro. The Jeff C. Pro. I can't remember. So yeah, there's always demo bikes available through their trucks that they drive around. And Santa Cruz has those as well. So, okay, let's see more in the chat here. How are we doing, guys? Is everyone still sticking around here? Here for about 40 minutes, so let's keep going here. Robin Dale says, I'm late. The 429 or the Tallboy? Robin Dell, those are two completely different bikes in my opinion. The Pivot Trail 429 has a real slalom type feeling, really rigid, stiff feeling, planted to the ground type feeling, just carves corners, and it's just very solid feeling bike. It doesn't have as much chundery capability and downhill prowess that the Tallboy 4 has. So they're different bikes. Which one I probably wouldn't buy either one of them. I mean, the Tallboy 4 would be cool, but it's too heavy for me. Steve H. with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Love the videos, my man. Keep it up with the reviews. Hey, I'm planning on it. The winter, I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and the winter is always tough for me to have enough bike video review videos logged up in the pipeline there to get me through winter. So this winter, I just want to let you all know there's going to be some ski videos. And the reason why I'm going to do it is I know this is a mountain biking channel, but I can't think of a mountain biker out there who wouldn't want to see ski content. It's incredible. Skiing's, I mean, I don't want to break your hearts here, but skiing is my first love. Mountain biking is incredible. I love it. But skiing is just, there's nothing like just ripping GS turns at 50 miles an hour down a groomer, which is mostly what we do here. Because, I mean, the places where I ski, to get Powder Day first tracks, it gets blown out like super quick. But you still get to ski some good crud and stuff. And then I'll also video some of my backcountry skiing. I backcountry ski maybe 20 days each season, and you'll get to see that a little bit. So, like it or not, you're getting some ski videos this winter. Let's see here. All right. Hungry MTBer says, do you think there's enough tire clearance in the lower link VPP bikes, or do you think it's going to be a longevity problem? Oh, I see what they're saying. Well, I don't think there's a problem with that. I was riding 2.5 tires, and frankly, I don't think there's a need for 2.8. I mean, I know that they offer you a little bit more traction on the climbs, and there's some nice things about the 2.8, the wider tires, but I'm not sold. I've ridden enough 2.8 tires. I don't think I need the clearance. And the Tallboy looked like it had plenty of clearance for the 2.5s and 2.6s, so I don't think it'll be a problem. Eric says, how is the Jeffsy? Eric, tune in a month when I upload that video. You can check it out. I thought it was all right. I probably wouldn't buy one. Oh, Bill W. Man, Bill, you're like Johnny on the spot, man. I got to figure out what your favorite treat is and send you something in the mail. You're always helping out with everything. Bill said the Jeffsy that I rode was a pro race. That's what it was, the pro race. It had a little bit more travel than the original Jeffsy. All right. Jackson, you're going to have to tune into the video to find out what I thought about the YTs. Do I hate the Rocky Mountain altitude? Silver Crown 88. What kind of question is that? I love the altitude. That was my favorite 27.5 bike that I've ridden in a long time. The one before that would probably be the Bronson. the 2016, 2017 Bronson. No, dude, I loved the altitude from Rocky Mountain. That bike was incredible. Yeah, Richard, I just scrolled through the chat here. I lost you. Richard, someone said, what do I think about the new Intense Primer? Yeah, Richard Villa, what do I think about the new Intense Primer? I just saw that they came out with that. That thing looks awesome. It looks like a neat bike. Chad Clark says, hi, Jason, are you going to try the 140 millimeter Pike just for a comparison? You know, I didn't, I probably won't get the opportunity to try the Pike on the Tallboy 4. I'm familiar enough with the Pike Ultimate and the Select Plus, I've ridden both of them, to tell you I like them better than the Fox 34. I do, I really do. In fact, it's worth mentioning since we're talking about it, I like the grip dampener, the grip damper in the Fit, or the in the Fox 34 Performance fork, it comes with a grip damper. In the Fit 4 comes in the Performance Elite and the factory fork. And my bike has the Fit 4. This is getting long-winded. My bike has the Fit 4 in the Fox 34 on my Ripley. And I like the lower grade grip damper in that fork in the Fit 4. And I like the Pike better than both of them. So my plan is to probably put a Pike on my Ripley. I think that's what my plan is. I'm not doing any races coming up that's going to affect it by having, and I'm going to do 140 millimeters of travel on my Ripley. So yeah, it would have been fun to ride the Tallboy 4 with the 140 mil Pike, but I'm familiar with it enough to know that it would have been better. And I think it would have kept up with the rest of the bike better. I think I'm going to really like it on my Ripley as well. Okay, I see you have another comment there saying that. Okay. Kurt Robertson says, I live in Las Vegas. What's skiing? Dude, we're only like 6 hours or 5.5 hours from Las Vegas here this winter and ski, buddy. Yes, every mountain biker should ski or snowboard. Larry Lee says, how about doing some fat bike reviews this winter? You know what? I've gone fat biking a couple of times. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, feel like fat biking is just this leap of desperation from bike manufacturers to make more money in the off season. Dead serious. I really believe that. I've been fat biking probably 7 or 8 times. I have friends, good friends, like my buddy Mike, who I go out to lunch with like once or twice a week. He loves fat biking. He loves it more than mountain biking. He loves biking. Here's the problem. I'm a skier. So if I'm going to get out in the cold early in the morning before work, I'm not going to go fat biking. I'm going to go backcountry skiing. So that's the first problem. Number 2 is that the conditions of fat biking have to be perfect. If there's new fresh snow and there's powder, you're not going fat biking. It's a total disaster. Like a major disaster. Like you cannot ride your bike in the powder, okay? The best conditions for fat biking, the only time I've really had a good time fat biking is like late in the season, like March, when the snow gets, where it gets hot enough temperatures during the day to like freeze the snow during the day. So it melts the snow during the day because it's hot enough, and then at nighttime it freezes it. You go up there in the morning and it's like riding on concrete. It's unbelievable. And you only ride with like 4 PSI in these tires, and they just grip to the snow so well. That's the only time I've ever had fun fat biking. The rest of the time, I'm uncomfortable, I'm cold, it's terrible. Oh, fat biking was for sure made up just to get bike manufacturers to make more money. I'm convinced of that. It's a marketing. I bet you we see mountain fat biking go away a little bit. Just like the 2.8 tire went away. Who wants to ride plus tires? Give me a break. So Larry Lee, probably not doing any fat bike videos. Sorry, man. Let's see here. A guy from Florida. It's time for a new bike. I'm thinking about I haven't ridden the Niner bike, but My thoughts between the Tallboy 4 and the Yeti SB130. I wonder how light you could get that SB130. I'd probably go with the SB130. It's more capable and it climbs as well or maybe better than the Tallboy 4. Okay, Nathan Raymond Barker says he just demoed the Tallboy 4 this weekend. I agree with your review. Currently running a V3 Bronson, just felt as confidence on the new Tallboy, but 10 times more efficient on climbing with more pop. Yeah, dude, I think the Tallboy is their best. If you're a Santa Cruz fan, hard to beat the Tallboy. Jeff Bond says Utah's got the greatest snow on earth. Booyah, buddy. William Timbers, yes, I got a mallet finger. It's really a crappy deal. I'm going to be in this splint for another 12 weeks. Hopefully the tendons, tender tendon that does this and a flexor tendon that does this. I jacked up the tendon on my pinky, the extender tendon, so I'm getting it fixed right now. That's what that is. Elijah asked Tallboy or Hightower. Tallboy's got my vote. Bike Nasty says winter riding, like fat biking, is all about the grooming. Yeah, if the trail's groomed, it's probably pretty fun. Bill Anderson loves his 2.8 tire on the front of his HD4. Hey, I don't want to hate on anyone. If you like 2.8 tires or 3.0 tires, more power to you. I've seen guys on 2.8 tires climb stuff in front of me that I couldn't get up. So look, it helps you climb better. No doubt about it. It gives a little more cush to the trail. The problem is on the descents, when you're ripping corners at high speeds, I fold those tires right over. But then if I have too much PSI, it's like a pogo stick. They're bouncing all over the place. I never, yeah, I'm getting all the hate in the world. Everyone's chiming in now on plus tires. I shouldn't have said anything. Sorry. So Kenny and Bill and all the other guys, I apologize. I like mountain biking. Whatever tires get you out on the mountain bike trail, use them. That's my answer. I just prefer 2.3 tires. Mike Glidewell says, you don't live in the desert all of a sudden. There's a place where fat bike tires are a must. Yeah, I guess yeah, it's a good point, Michael. Fat bikes are important for if you live in the sand too. That makes sense. Can you quickly talk about your touring setup? DynaFit, I've always wanted to try it. I don't want to go into too much about my touring setup. So I use a DPS Whaler 106 Tour 1 skis with the DynaFit TL1, the lightest binding DynaFit makes, like the Skimo binding, really super light. And then I use Atomic Backlander carbon boots, and I go out and tour. That's my tour setup. The DPS skis, though, they ski really well. I tried a couple of different skis before I bought those ones, and they ski really well for how lightweight they are. You know, they don't generate a ton of power, but pretty good power. James O'Brien just said, I just went from the SB130 to the Ripley. Zero regrets. Dude, I feel the same way. The Yeti SB130 didn't do anything for me that I couldn't get my Ripley to do for the most part. Like I said, I'm going to put that Pike 140 on the front of my Ripley and see how it goes. But, man, the Ripley just blows my mind how good that bike is. All right, I'm going to try to catch up to the end of the chat here. Let's see here. John says, Bronson or the Transition Scout. I've still not ridden any Transition bikes, which is a shame. I've heard they're really good. Ryan Bishop says he could buy a used 2019 Bronson CR build for $3,700 or a 2008 3K. I would buy the 2018 because I thought it was a better trail bike. It just depends if you want to go descend some super high-speed burly trails, then the 2019 will be better at that than the previous Bronson. But I thought the previous Bronson was a better climbing bike, a more fun, poppy, lively, energetic bike. That's more my style, and it still could handle anything you're going to throw at it. I'd buy the 2018 Bronson between those two bikes. Although the new lower link's pretty rad too. Let's see. Right Coaster MTB says he bought a Tallboy 3 based on my previous review. Cool. On the amount of stoke when you were riding it, just rolled all over West North Carolina and couldn't be happier. Dude, I was super stoked on that Tallboy 3. I still am. I think it's an incredible trail bike. Man, I'm having a hard time keeping up with this chat here. Tallboy 4 has an occasional cross-country marathon race bike. I think you can do better. For a marathon race bike and occasional cross-country, I think you can do better than a Tallboy 4. Dan the Man, sorry to hear your dog died, man. I hope you have some peace over the next couple days. That's hard. We lost our dog of 11 years. It's a bad deal because they become like a part of your family. So my heart goes out to you guys. Do I know anything about the Juliana Furtado? Furtado. Anyway, I don't know how they say that. I don't know anything about women's bikes, dude. Sorry. I know it's similar to whatever Santa Cruz makes in the men's version or the unisex version. Let's see here. Do you think Tallboy can handle aggressive California riding? Yes. The new Tallboy can handle just about any aggressive riding you throw at it. Any. Truly. SB140 for the win. Okay, so Joe, I have the SB140 video coming out. I might do it next. I can't decide if I'm going to do the SB140 video next or the Evil Offering video next. I thought the SB140 was cool, but it's not what I was marketed it to be. Did I say that right? So the marketing campaigns that I saw from Yeti and from other YouTubers or whatever kind of listed as this really playful, fun party bike. It wasn't the case for me. You know, I thought it was a very stable, you know, like really capable bike, but nah, it wasn't like a party bike. Not to me. Do a video on my Ibis Ripley build. I thought I already did that. I have a video called MTB Yum Yum Gear and Bike Check. I think I went over all the stuff on my Ripley. I don't know. Go check out that video. Let's see here. Ryan Bishop saying thank you. I don't remember what for. Oh, yeah, the Bronson question. Yeah, dude, get that 2018 Bronson. That's money. Bill Anderson. I agree. Tires all a choice. I'm in the desert, and bigger tires have given me way more comments. Hey, that's great. Yeah, I don't want to bag on anybody's tires. Chad Clark, do you know if Salt Cycles has any L Ripleys in stock? Yeah, I was actually there today because I rode with Chris, the owner. We went riding together this morning. And I think there's a blue large Ripley in stock. Call Salt Cycles. If you guys are looking for a bike, call Salt Cycles, dude. They're the best bike shop ever. And they just can custom build them for you, accommodate you. There's a couple guys on here who said they bought some bikes from them. So, yeah, give them a buzz. They always love talking to MTB Yum Yum subscribers. I'm a part of the family at this point. I mean, I'm all in with Salt Cycles. I think those guys are great, and I've really enjoyed hanging out with those guys. All right, Yum Yum. Hardtail curious now that geometry isn't just for racing. Bike nasty. That's an interesting question. So some of you guys might not know this about me, but I've ridden bikes for over 25 years. But, you ready for this? I hope you're sitting down because a lot of you guys probably won't believe this. I didn't get my first full suspension bike until 2012. 2012 was my first full suspension bike. It was a 26-inch full suspension, 140 mil travel bike. That's the first time I ever had anything other than a hardtail. And honestly, I think that's riding a hardtail for a long time is what makes you, it can really aid in making you a better mountain biker. I really think that. Because it helps you really be focused on line choice and also keeping your hills down. Really good bike positioning, because if you're going to ride a hardtail super fast through chundery sections of trail, you got to be on the bike in the right position so you don't get bucked off of it. And you got to pick good lines and learn how to ride light and really unweight the bike. You know, through some sections, you'll see a way to unweight the bike and make the bike feel really light underneath you so it can kind of skip across stuff without actually packing, you know, just pounding on every single obstacle on the trail. So I am not hardtail curious, though, to answer your question. I don't have any interest in a hardtail at all. Full suspension bikes, if you want a hardtail, get a Ripley and hit the lock switch out. That's what I think. Matthias says, new Trek Fuel EX review. Yeah, I saw that they have a new a Trek Fuel. I also want to check out the new Trek Fuel. Is that right? No, not the Fuel EX. What's the one, just the more racy version of that? I forget what it's called. The Super Fuel? I can't remember what it is. Bill W. is going to tell me right now because he knows everything. He's like a bike genius. But whatever, they have the Trek Fuel, which is like their trail bike, the Fuel EX. And then, the Top Fuel. I think it's called the Top Fuel. Just the click above that is the Top Fuel. That's the bike I want to check out. Man, Bill, you beat me to it. Top Fuel. Chad Clark, Bike Nasty, and Bill W. You guys all get extra brownie points for knowing all the answers to the questions. That's the bike I want to check out, is the Trek Top Fuel. That bike looks pretty cool. So yeah, I want to check out the Fuel EX too. So Esteban, am I saying your name right? Esteban says SB100, Ripley, Evil Following MB, or Santa Cruz Tallboy. Keep up the good work. Love the reviews. Thanks, man. So I think by now everyone's catching on to the theme of what bike I would choose. That is the bike I would choose right there. That is my Ibis Ripley. I'll just walk you over for the fun of it, since everyone wants to start feeling sick here. This is the bike I would choose. The Ibis Ripley, that's the Recon front tire, 2.4. See this lug pattern here? It's very consistent. So this is the transition lug here, and here, and here. And it transitions you onto your outside cornering lugs. And they're very consistent. That's what I look for in a tire. See how they're the same the whole way through? It gives you a very confidence cornering lugs. And then I have the Ardent Race on the back here. And then that's my road bike. That's my long travel bike. Yes, that's a good long travel bike. All right, so now that I've just made everybody sick, sorry guys. Let's get you set back down here and see if we can straighten that out. So to answer your question, which bike I would choose, that's the bike I currently own. So that's the bike I would choose. Let's see if we can straighten this out a little bit here. That's still not very straight, is it? That better? Okay. Ibis Ripley. I love it. Joe says, James O'Brien, the 140 is dope. I think it's very playful. Suspension definitely needs to be dialed for sure. What rims and hubs are you running on your Ibis Ripley? Eric, I almost always... Look, I love the blinged out hubs, the new Hydra hubs from i9, but honestly, every time I build a wheel set, I just do DT Swiss 240s. They are the smoothest hubs. They're not as loud as a lot of the other hubs on the market. I think the DT Swiss 240s are sexy with the red and black hubs. They just look the business to me. They're not flashy. They're not trying to sell you something by being a sparkly anodized color. They're just the workhorse of hubs. It's got a 54 tooth engagement ratchet system in the hub, in the rear hub, and they're money, man. They're so good. And what rims do I use? I use Salt Cycles rims because they're the best. They're the most affordable, most durable. They're money. I love those Salt Cycle rims. And those are my boys over there. They take care of me. So I want to support their shop. And I haven't had any problems with their rims. They're super lightweight. I love them. Bike Nasty says the Fuel EX, the Trek Fuel EX is a dad bike. Yum yum, says laugh out loud. I don't know if it's a dad bike or not. I'm a dad. I'm a 37-year-old dad of 3 kids. Eric S. says, I called Salt Cycles today and asked for Sam or Chris. I let them know I was in the Yum Yum subscriber. Nice. I asked for a quote for SB100 XO1 built with carbon wheels. Hopefully they give me a good deal. Hey, I hope they give you a good deal too. Eric S., I'm going to text Chris tonight and tell him that you need a good deal. An extra special deal. Chris and Sam, I don't think either one of them were in today because they were out biking with me. But they'll be in tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for supporting me, Eric, by calling Salt Cycles and supporting me. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. Thank you. John says, you rock, dude. Keep up the good work. Thanks, bud. I'm happy to keep on doing this. Sorry I haven't been posting much this year. I've been so busy. I had this happen, mountain biking, which has made it difficult to grip the bar with any amount of strength because his fingers kind of stuck straight. And so that's kind of kept me from biking as much as I probably normally would. And then I got a vasectomy a couple months ago, and you kind of got to take it easy after that too. So I just haven't been riding as much as I normally do. Eric S. says, SB100 or Intense Sniper? I thought you were going to order a SB100. Yeah, get the 100, dude. The Intense Sniper is nowhere on the same league as an SB100. Not even close. It's less money, though. I guess that's worth considering. Money's always a factor. It's always important to if you're stuck between a couple of different bikes, get the one that's going to have better resale value or you can get a better deal on. Those are considerations. I mean, it's not like we're all, maybe some of you are. I'm not just into, wealthy. My wife doesn't have like a dowry or something. I got to buy these bikes, So you got to get a good deal, if you can, or buy the bike that has better resale value. That's worth considering. That's a function of the bike purchase, assuming everything else is equal between the two bikes. You like them both equally. They both ride well, whatever. Let's see here. James O'Brien says, nice. I have the XMC 1200 DT Swiss with 240 hubs on my Ripley. I was considering switching to an i9 Hydra, but good to know you endorsed the 240. Yeah, man, I love I feel like the 240, the DT Swiss hubs just spin fast. I think they spin incredible. Eric S. says he's been watching the channel for 2 years. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, I see a lot of people on here have been on here since almost the beginning, so I appreciate the support, guys. C. Rice says, I'm currently looking at getting into a mountain biking and thinking a Tallboy 4 or a Ripley. Can you keep up with the guys that ride hardtails when climbing if you are riding full suspension? Dude, full suspension bikes climb better than hardtails, dude. Yeah, C. Rice. Full suspension bikes climb better than hardtails. No doubt about it. You're gonna buy that Ripley and you're gonna blow them up the hill. Although the fastest bike up the hill between a hardtail or a full suspension or different full suspension bikes is the guy with the strongest legs. At the end of the day, the guy with the strongest legs gets up the trail the fastest. Doesn't matter what bike he's on almost. I mean, almost doesn't matter what bike you're on. The fastest legs gets up the hill faster. And being lightweight, I mean, it's a weight to power ratio, right? Let's see here. Well, I considered demoing an Orbea. You know what? I don't even know where to find an Orbea. Well, that's not true. There's a bike shop in Salt Lake City that has Orbea. I could probably find an Orbea. All right, my Schweppes is almost gone, which means it's almost time to wrap this thing up. If you have any last questions about the Tallboy 4, fire away. Any questions about the channel, fire away. I'm happy to stick around and talk bikes more, or just if you guys have questions about the channel. I'm going to be doing ski videos, which should be pretty cool. I've skied my whole life, and skiing is probably my first love, and biking is just a close second. So I'm excited to do some of those videos. I thought about originally, after I realized what a need there was for mountain bike reviews, I thought, man, I'd love to do ski reviews of skis, but man, if you think there's a lot of difference between bikes, which there really isn't that much difference between bikes, You should look at skiing. Man, skiing is insane how much difference there is between skis. I mean, you know, you guys think I think it's crazy to only own one bike. I think you got to own two bikes. Two bikes can cover all the terrain. Skis, you got to own at least 3 pairs of skis because there's so many different things. So, all right. There. Looks like a bunch of questions just came flooding in here. Let me see if I can look at these. Any plans to test the new Ibis aluminum Ritmo? Yeah, the Ritmo AF. You know what? I would be interested to try that bike. I don't know where I'd get one, but because Salt Cycles doesn't have any, and they're like the only Ibis dealer around. I would love to try that. Also, let's see here. What's the name of the carbon wheels on my Ripley? I don't know if you're asking me that or not. My name's Jason. My wheels are Salt Cycles wheels. They're just the standard Salt Cycle wheels. Try Top Fuel 2019. You'll love it. Yeah, Silver Crown. I really think I will love it. I'm excited to check that bike out. A couple thank yous here saying thanks for the reviews. Hey, I'm happy to do the reviews, guys. You know, I get busy and stuff, but yeah, I get Kurt Robertson asked me to sum up conference for everyone. That's hilarious. Kurt, you must be a local. Let's see here. Eric, yeah, my name's Jason. I use Salt Cycle wheels. Have I ever ridden an oval chainring? Thoughts versus round? You know what? Everyone I know who rides an oval chainring thinks it's pretty impressive. I think they like it, but I've not yet tried one, and I haven't been like super eager to try one because I'm happy with a 34 round. But maybe I should try one. Yeah, I'll try one. Yoshi Green Dino. That's a great username. Says, does the lower link on the Tallboy let you climb out of the saddle like the old style pivot? I don't know. I would love to ride like an old Hightower and a Tallboy 4 back to back, or the old Tallboy 3 and the Hightower back to back, and see which one climbs better, because I feel like the Tallboy 3 climbed better than the Tallboy 4, but it's been a minute since I've ridden a Tallboy 3, so I could be wrong. Let's see. Yum Yum You Rock, thanks for the views. Only 22 likes with a lot of people in here. Hit the like button. Oh yeah, hit the like button. Like Brady Hall said. Brady Hall, are you the guy that lives here in Utah? Hit the like button. That helps. That helps the channel a lot. So do that. Let's see here. Some last questions coming in. Let's see. Is the base model Tallboy a good value? I didn't look up what the price was. I thought the base value Tallboy was like still like $4,500. Bikes are, that's the last thing I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about it. Bikes are getting crazy expensive. Like in the last couple of years, I feel like bikes are getting insane. I can't believe how expensive it is to ride a bike nowadays if you want like middle of the road stuff like X01 kind of level group set with decent fork and shock. You're like, no matter what, it's insane. Or $7,000. Yeah, just bikes are getting out of control. It's crazy. All right, let's get these last few questions and then let's close this thing down. Orbea I own. I haven't tried it, and I'm probably not going to try it. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to track down an Orbea, but I don't know. Jason, your comments on my query makes me want to sell even more. Oh, okay. I see what he's saying. He might be from maybe English isn't his first language, but he says he wants to sell his original Hightower. He's saying, anyway, Fox 36 on a Tallboy or a Pike. You know what? A Fox 36 on a Tallboy, if you're like a guy who loves to send it, might be pretty rad. I'd do a Pike personally if I were going to get a Tallboy 4. I'd do a Pike. Lots of comments here. Guys asking me to do the Revel Rascal. Yeah, that's a bike I need to check out. Okay, you mentioned an SB130 climbing. Yeah, I thought the SB130 climbed better than the Tallboy 4. I'm looking at a Ripley at 250 pounds. Won't it be a mistake to buy? I have a Yeti SB150 also. You know what, James Fontes? If you're 250 pounds, that Ripley is going to feel a little flimsy to you. It's going to feel not super stiff. The Ripley is not the stiffest bike in the whole world. You know, if you want a short travel bike and you're 250 pounds, James, honestly, consider the Pivot Trail 429. It's a much more stout build. It's a lot stiffer torsionally, you know, that bike just rails. And so if you're a heavier rider, you might find that Ripley to be a little wonky for you. I mean, I can feel the flex in the Ripley. I don't mind it. I don't mind a bike with a little flex when I'm really railing hard through a corner. I'm okay with a little bit of flex. I weigh 140 pounds, so I don't mind flexing the bike a little bit. But 250 pounds, depending on how fast and how aggressively you ride, you might like the Pivot Trail 429 better than the Ripley. So maybe consider that. Let's see here. Any interest in trying the Ibis HD5, by the way? Alex, yes, I am super interested in trying the HD5. I love the HD4 so much. If Chris at Salt Cycles doesn't get an HD5 in for demo like super soon, then I'm going to make him give me a good deal on one so I can buy one, demo it, and then just sell it if it's not the right bike for me. But I really want to try the new HD5 because of their new tuning on their shocks and their fork. They've got that lightweight tuning for lighter riders, which I've ridden the Roxy tune that Fox does on like the Yeti women's bike, the Yeti SB100, the Yeti Betty. I love that shock tune on that bike. I thought that tuning was really good for lighter weight riders. So yeah, Alex, I'm super interested in riding the Ibis HD5. I just love Ibis bikes. They're so snappy and poppy, even the Ritmo, which is their longer travel bike. Okay, hi Jason, I own a 2016 Bronson. Would the Tallboy or the Ripley be a good second bike? I'm looking for something that climbs well. The Tallboy would not be a good match if you already have a 2016 Bronson, in my opinion. There's a ton of overlap between those two bikes. And you can't build the Tallboy up super lightweight, so you might look more to the Ripley if you're going to keep your Bronson. But if you love Santa Cruz and you're going to sell your Bronson, the Tallboy, I think you'd feel right at home on the Tallboy. Hey Jason, did you ever experience any creaking on the SB100? No, I got my SB100. The SB100 that I owned was after they fixed the creaking in the switch affinity box there. So Joe Rawlings says, quick thoughts on the Evil Offering, dude. The Evil Offering is so good, like so fun. That's the most fun I've had on a bike in a while. It was a pretty rad bike. It didn't climb great though, but I kind of, when you get on the bike and just start feeling it, kind of, I don't know. You'll see the video. The Evil Offering was super fun, man. That's a cool bike. All right, I think we're about done here. Do I find the Ripley enough travel for Jacob's Ladder and other downhills you ride? Okay, before we sign off, I'm just going to answer JAFO's question real quick. He says, do you find the Ripley enough travel for Jacob's Ladder and other downhill hills that you ride? The best way to answer that is you could ride Jacob's Ladder on rollerblades if you wanted, or a tricycle, or a little kid bike. You could ride these bikes on all the trails. I could ride my Ripley on a World Cup enduro trail. It's the bigger function is the speed at which you're riding. You're going to hit the limit of the Ripley going down Jacob's Ladder because of the Fox 34 fork on there and the head tube angle and just the way the bike is. You don't hit the limits. I wouldn't hit the limits of, I would be going so fast down Jacob's Ladder on my Ibis Ritmo or my Ibis HD4 or even maybe that Tallboy, maybe, of yourself before you'd hit the limits of the bike, okay, because of the speed. So yeah, the Ripley, for me, I mean, we're going mock chicken down Jacob's ladder. I know Jacob's ladder on the GoPro footage on YouTube doesn't look that rowdy, and it's really not that rowdy. But the speed that we're riding it is so fast, you guys. Like Cody Kelly, who's on the Enduro World Series, is only a few seconds faster than the guys I'm riding with down Jacob's ladder on Strava. These guys are just giving it the beans down Jacobs. Now I'm right there with them. I'm not quite as fast as them. Tyler and Zach and a few of these guys are a little bit faster than me, but yes, it just, so when you ask yourself which bike should I get and is this bike good enough for this trail, it's really a function of what you want to get out of the trail. How fast are you going to ride it? If you are absolutely ripping, giving it the beans, then you're going to want more travel and a slacker bike so you can really get to your limit, right? The Ripley for me is not enough for all the trails that I ride. So the Ripley, that's also why I don't own one bike. I had the Ibis Ritmo for a while. I've since replaced the Ibis Ritmo with the Rocky Mountain Instinct BC edition, because that will hold, I can get to a higher limit of my riding on a trail, even Jacob's Ladder, but certainly even more rowdy trails on that bike versus the Ripley. But I don't want to go pedal that stinking Rocky Mountain Instinct BC edition around all day with those big heavy tires. That's what I like about my Ripley. The Ripley is pretty dang capable. Like, it gets me 90% of the trails that I ride, that I can ride as fast as I want. But man, it just is a rocket ship. It accelerates out of corners, gets back on the pedals quick. It climbs really well. It just pedals along the trail effortlessly. I've got a lighter weight, faster rolling tire on there. So that's a pretty loaded question that you asked, and I just kind of got on my soapbox here. But yeah, it's all a function of how fast you're riding. I would say that's the bigger factor. You can ride just about anything down Jacob's Ladder. I could ride a hardtail down Jacob's Ladder and be just fine. I just have to go a little slower than my Ripley. And my Ripley, I got to go just a little slower than my Rocky Mountain Instinct BC edition. And then you take the guys that I'm riding with, like Jason Hawkins or Tyler Metcalf or Zach, and those guys could take all those same bikes that I just mentioned, and they can ride them all just a little bit faster than me because their limit is a little higher. They're willing to go a little faster. Their ability is a little faster. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. I see some more questions in here, but man, it's almost 10 o'clock. I got to get to bed. I got work tomorrow. You guys probably do too. Fun hanging out with you guys. Thanks to everyone who gave a super chat tonight. It really helps out the channel a lot. Thanks for watching and sticking around and being a part of the channel and commenting and liking my videos and just being here. You know, without an audience, I wouldn't be doing this anymore because it's a lot of work. But there's an audience here and it makes a difference. I get emails and messages on Instagram. Oh, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. I mostly just do stories on Instagram, but I post there as well. But yeah, without the audience, you know, without you guys, this community, I wouldn't be doing this. So, and trust me, I've been doing it for 3 years. I've wanted to do stickers and a logo and a t-shirt, and I just have never done it because I wouldn't wear a shirt that said yum yum on it. It's just, I don't know. It's just not interesting to me. So anyway, so I know we don't have like a lot of the same elements here at MTV Yum Yum that other YouTube channels have with like group rides and they travel the world and stickers and hats and t-shirts and whatever. But yeah, Turbo Wolf, I'll answer that question. What's your fastest Strava time on Jacob's Ladder? I think my fastest time is 2 minutes and 22 seconds or 20 seconds. I think I'm ranked 17th overall down Jacob's Ladder on Strava with probably 5,000 users. Most of the downhill segments that you see in my videos, I'm like, you know, like Rush. Rush is in almost every single video that I do. In Rush, there's over 13,000 users on Strava on Rush. I think I'm ranked top 10 in a lot of the segments and top 20 in I think most all of the segments. So, you know, we're giving it the beans in this video. I know the YouTube footage from the GoPro has just been slaughtered by it doesn't turn out real well, but All right. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We're shutting it down. Bill W, Joseph, thanks for moderating and keeping the whole feed clean. I really appreciate you guys doing that. And I think I had some other moderators on there too. But thanks, guys. Shut this thing down.